Good adventures, everybody. I'm Melissa Bonzak, and welcome to episode 147 of Books Cubed, the show where I chat with authors you should be reading. I am very excited this week to be chatting with the author of Mandrake Manor, J.P. Rindfleisch the Ninth. Awesome, awesome book. Before I get to the interview, just really quick, thank you to everyone who came out to see me at Rewind Book Fair in Minneapolis at the fairgrounds this past weekend, April 18th and 19th. It was amazing. We had such a good time. My daughter was with me running. She was running all the cash box while I chatted with people coming through and signed books. And I had quite a few people come through and say, "Hey, I saw you on TikTok and I wanted to come by and say hi." That is fantastic. That was so exciting. Thank you, everyone who came out. And that's it. It was a great show. I can't wait to go back and do it again next year or whenever they do it next. And okay, that's that. Let's get right to the interview with JP, and I will see you after. All right, I'm so excited to welcome JP Rindfleisch the Ninth to the show. Welcome, JP.
Hello, thank you for having me on.
I'm very excited to have you on. Ever since I started reading Mandrake Manor, like whenever it came out, I've been wanting to have you on. So let me read his bio real quick because this is fun. J.P. Rindfleisch is the author of cozy queer fantasy and strange fiction where whimsy meets the weird. His stories often explore grief, transformation, and queer joy wrapped in a little magic, a dash of mischief, and a whole lot of heart. He's the author of Mandrake Manor, Mosswood Apothecary. Apothecary. I can speak. And he also co-writes NRDS National Recently Deceased Services, a paranormal comedy series, and the Leah Ackerman Dark Paranormal Academy series. He is in Illinois, and I see you have the Rockford area writers. Are you
Yeah.
still taking members?
Yeah, it's totally free group. It's just meant for anyone kind of in the Rockford area. Um I'm gonna do a quick side note of the story because it's interesting. So Rockford area writers kind of came to be because I went to a couple author events and I realized that we had like an authors guild, but they weren't really interested in the community aspect, and I didn't have any way to like actually communicate with anybody. And so I was like, well, I'll just do it. So I made the group and now we have like 100 members and about like 10 of us show up every couple of weeks in person and we have like a dinner together and just chat writing. No set plan, no topic, no critique group really. It's just sort of to hang out and meet other authors.
And I see you also have an African gray parrot. I had a friend who used
Hmm.
to raise them, and
Yeah.
and a husky.
Yes, the husky's over here just passed out on the floor.
Oh,
But African Gray's downstairs. Some days she has her tantrums. Other days she's just a silly bird who knocks on the window and tries to talk to our neighbors. It's very
oh
funny.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Joe loved her. I mean, she had a barn full. She raised a lot of them, and they had one inside the house. And her boys, very mischievous individuals, they taught the
Hmm.
bird to say bad words, but in a
Oh
high
yeah.
voice, so that
Yep.
when the minister would come to dinner, the bird would say things in a high voice, and it sounded like the bird was imitating her instead of the sons,
Ah.
and they would laugh. Very
Yep.
bad
Yep.
children.
We
Uh,
definitely teach our bird I teach the bird very bad words. My partner doesn't love it, but then when she does it, he laughs. So I say that's a win.
Hey, you got it. You got it. So
Yeah.
today we are talking about a Mandrake Manor. I'm going to show the book. Is it on frame? It is in
Yeah.
frame. So if you're watching on YouTube, there's the cover. It is beautiful. It's a black cover with the words Mandrake Manor in blue and dark pink,
Yeah, like a magenta.
like a magenta. Thank you.
Yeah.
And there's a wolf at the top and wolfsbane and
Hmm.
some more flowers, and then a house at the bottom. Now, this one is, I'm going to go ahead and let you give us the elevator pitch about it because that's why I got the book, was because of your pitch on
Yeah.
TikTok.
Yeah, so TikTok taught me how to refine the pitch. But two gay men and their non-binary friend inherit a house, become the neighborhood witches, and defend the neighborhood against an evil HOA.
And I hate HOAs with every fiber of my being. And I live in one right now, which is actually pretty good. but we have not. It's still owned by the builder. We have not taken over
Mhm.
control yet. So hopefully people behave. But I lived in one before, and I wish there'd been some witches to help me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, not good, not good. So
Yes,
what I
I guess you'll
loved,
have to hex them.
yes, yes. Now what I loved about this book at the beginning of each chapter, there is, and I'm not going to hold it up and show, but there's a really pretty page with a poem
Yeah.
on it, and the poem is about a plant, and then that
Yes.
plant is featured in that next chapter. So
Yes.
where did that come from?
Yeah, so you remember Kindle Vella. Um, so Mandrake Manor was originally written in Kindle Vella, and in Kindle Vella, it's a serialized platform. I had chapters coming out every week, and there was the author notes section, and I had no idea what to do there. So I was like, you know what I'll do? I'm gonna name the chapter after a plant, and then I get to use my nerdy science background because I have a degree in biochemistry. I grew up on a greenhouse. Like, I love plants. I just kill them, but I love learning about them. So in the original notes, in the author notes, it was less of a poem and more about information about the plants. So it would be like plants that poison, and I would give little history facts there, or like historical facts. And then when it became a book, I wanted it to be something that sort of was artsy and pretty. So that's when I turned all of that information into poems that I could put in the front.
And I really like that because they have a book that they refer to for spells and things. So it feels like it's a page right out
Yeah.
of this spell book, and then I'm right there involved with them.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. I mean,
exactly
it
what I
helped to
want.
really bring me into the story. Yeah,
Excellent.
yeah.
Excellent.
So,
Yeah.
and hopefully without giving away any of the plot, there's one point in the book, and I had written it down so I didn't forget to ask you. So there's a character, I won't say where, and they're rescuing another character, and there's a man in a robe that talks about they shouldn't be there, and the last time it was bad because this guy was looking for his dead wife. Is that a
hmm
nod to What Dreams May Come?
I love What Dreams May Come. It's one of my favorite
Yeah.
movies. And like, if I had to get like all woo woo and spiritual, like that would be the representation of like the afterlife that I believe in most. So it probably, though it's been a few years since I wrote Mandrake Manor, it's either directly influenced or it was influenced just because I love the movie. But that's definitely a nod at some point.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, it was when I was reading them all. Oh my God, what dreams may come. I had to write it
Yeah,
down real quick so I wouldn't forget.
yeah, that's
So,
I truly I loved What Dreams May Come. It was just such a it was such a turn for me because I was watching a lot of like Robin Williams movies back in the time, and it was a lot of comedy. And then this was one of the few that I saw where he did a drama role, and it was just so different that it really stuck. And then the story itself is just, to me, it's like it still holds up. It's a really
yes.
great movie about like grief and just the processing of losing loved ones for various ways, and also like how to process the afterlife and death.
Yeah, and if you have not seen it and you're going to watch it, be prepared. There are several deaths in the movie,
Yep.
and it is very sad.
Yes.
But there's redeeming things, and it's definitely worth a watch. But understand that there are deaths in the film before
Yes.
you go into that. So if for anybody out there, I don't want to give away spoilers. So if is there a sequel to Mandrake Manor?
There is. So there's actually a short story that's available now on my website. It's a website exclusive. You can either get it as a ebook or print. But this one focuses on like a couple of months before the coven begins, and it follows Regana and Helena.
Okay.
So it's like it's just a cute little venture there. And then I'm currently releasing chapters of the next book in the series, which is titled Belladonna Bed and Breakfast.
Ah.
And I believe chapter 7 just came out. So
And
we're sort of going weekly.
where do people find those?
You can head on over to ninthbooks.com. I made it super easy. You can spell it either way and it will redirect you to my website. Also made sure of that.
Nice,
But
nice,
yeah, so easy. Number 9thbooks.com is the way to go.
nice. And I was looking at your website earlier. Really nice. I see that you have merch on your
Yeah,
website.
yeah. So, This is like a weird path to get to this, but I do productivity streams on Twitch. And so
Okay.
Twitch is like a gaming platform, but a lot of the like writing and productivity community is also there. So I have a camera on me, and then I have chat, and I have overlays and like ways that you can interact with both me and the chat and all this stuff. And we do productivity and work. So when I wanted to revamp my website and turn it into a merch site, I had multiple options. One of them was Shopify, which was like expensive per month. And I was like,
Yes.
I don't know if I'm ready for that.
Yeah.
And then there was another one called Fourth Wall, which is free. Totally free to sign up. You get a domain and you can rename it however you want. And then they just take like a fraction of whatever the sales are. And it looked equivalent to like Patreon. And then it had a lot of equivalences to Shopify itself. I've been with them for, I want to say like almost 3 years or more. They've been
Mm.
fantastic. They've been updating their process this whole time. And they've been really helpful for authors. I've had a few talks with them as to like how to do a couple of things like pre-orders because it's not there yet, but there's a way to do it where it's pretty easy to just hit up a couple buttons and make it obvious. So
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, and I went. I was so pretty. I went and looked at the site, and I actually do have. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have it already signed up for it at some point in the past and
yeah.
just forgot. So if someone is a writer, because I know in the beginning it asks what kind of business you have. Do you remember what they'd want to sign up for if they're a writer?
I don't remember. It
I
would
don't remember.
probably be like publishing or something.
Probably something
They
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, they also have a Discord, and they're pretty responsive, and there's a lot of people there too. So you could always hop on the Discord and ask the question if you can't figure it out. I periodically check it too. You could always at me if you find me.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll have it down in the show notes. And I thought, someone's going to come back and ask me, how do I sign up as an author? I have no clue. So,
Yeah, it's great. And yeah, I've convinced a few people to sign up for it. So I definitely recommend it, especially for those of us that we're not ready to take the Shopify leap, but we do want to start
yeah.
offering merch. Or we want to just sell our books. That's Fourth Wall, I think it's one of my top three, and it competes with Amazon for sales because of how I present it and how I'm on Twitch a lot. So because of that, I have a more ingrained community. So when I announce stuff, they want to
Mhm.
be able to buy it direct. And yeah, so I highly recommend it.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah. It reminded me of Create Space, and anybody who has
Mhm.
been around long enough, it was there. It was a great site. It was where Kindles were originally, and you could create, or paperbacks. I can't remember which one, but Amazon bought it, fired everybody, didn't know how to run it, and then destroyed it and ruined it. Ruined it. So,
No.
their usual, get
Yeah.
rid of the
Yep.
competition. So yeah, it reminded me of that, and I loved CreateSpace. I used to do film,
Yeah.
and we sold a lot of merch through our CreateSpace site. We
Yeah.
sold
Yeah.
DVDs for our films and that kind of thing. So yeah, I think merch is a great idea for people who have books. I would love to get back into merch. I think I'm gonna take a peek at it because right now everybody can get my books through PayHip. So,
Yeah.
but you can't really make it look pretty, you
No, yeah,
know?
that was my other thing. I was looking at that
Yeah.
too, and I was like, oh, it's not very pretty. And
No.
I love aesthetically pleasing things. So,
Yes. Yes,
yeah.
same. Okay, so they can go to ninth. What was it again? Ninth
Ninthbooks.com.
books to follow along on that. So, what other projects are you working on right now?
Yeah. So right now I am working on the chapter releases for Belladonna Bed and Breakfast. I think I'm a couple of chapters ahead of what's actually getting published because that's how I roll.
Nice, nice.
Um, I also have a couple of projects in the works. The sequel to Nerds, National Recently Deceased Services with Jeff. So I think we have like 8 chapters left, most of which I have to edit because he's already written and he's just waiting on me. And then for those in the author community who know Chris Kane, I'm doing a series with her as well. We're 5 chapters out from being done with that one. That one is we code named it. I'll rename one of the words, but we codenamed it cozy spicy poly fantasy. Uh, So it's one of those. It's very much in the realm of like Mandrake Manor or
Okay.
yeah, very much Mandrake Manor, but spicier, and then
Ooh,
features a polyamorous relationship instead.
nice, nice,
Yeah.
nice. So yeah, so these are fun. They are such fast reads. Well, at least Mandrake Manor. It's the first one I've
Good.
read. I'm going to read some more. I was looking at your website, going, oh, I need that one. I need that one, and I need to. I just have a little bit left to do to finish this one, and I got to bring it out because my daughter's going to steal it from me um, when I go on this week. She's waiting for it. Do you
Yeah.
have? Are they out in narrator? Do you have a narrated books?
Yeah. So let's see what is released now. So Mandrake Manor has been re-released with Tantor Media, and the narrator is Kurt Graves. Mosswood Apothecary will be releasing with Simon Maverick, which is an imprint of Simon and Schuster. July, I think it's July or June. It's July 17th or something like that. So that one's coming out in the next few months. And then
Nice.
The Alchemist Baker of Rosen, which is like a spiritual sequel to Mosswood Apothecary. That one will also be audio, but we don't have dates for the release on that one.
Yeah. Well, that's good to have audio. I know that a lot of
Yeah.
people like that. I like that option.
Yeah.
If I buy an
I love
ebook,
audio.
I usually get the audio also, and then I just switch between. I was painting
Same.
a
Yeah.
room the other day, and I switched to the audio so I could listen because I couldn't hold the book at the same time. Though I have tried. I walked into plenty of walls trying to do things at the same time as holding the
Yep.
book. So how when was your first book published?
First book was the Leah Ackerman series Dark Pawn, and it was published in 2021.
Okay, yeah, because when we met, I mean, I was chatting with you
Yeah.
I'm like, do we know each other? You look really familiar. And yeah, we were at a conference together with very small,
Yeah.
it was like what, 15 of us
I
in
think so. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
in Salem, Massachusetts.
Hmm.
Gosh, what year was that?
I want to say so that was after the pandemic, so it was either late 2021 or it was well, because wasn't it around like the fall time?
I
I
think
don't remember.
I don't remember either. I know there
That
was
that
I
era has been a blur.
oh God, yeah. I drove because I had just bought a new car and
Hmm.
I drove 10,000 miles because I drove in like, I went in to get an oil change. The guy said, you only had the car like a month. Yeah, I know, but I drove 10,000 miles because I drove from where I am in Florida to Salem and it was
Hmm.
raining. I wanted to stop in Boston
Hmm.
because I grew up in Boston and I hadn't been back in a long time. So, and then I drove across to Wisconsin and then I drove home and then back to
Mm.
Wisconsin and home two more times.
Yep.
There were
Yep, that
things
would do
going
it.
on. There was no snow. So it
Yeah.
was not winter. I remember
Yeah,
that
no,
much.
it definitely wasn't winter. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
So
that was a fun time.
that was fun. And we wrote short stories for an anthology about
Yep.
witches. And I hate mine. I mean, I love my story, but I hate that version because I
Mm.
wrote it at 6 o'clock and it was due at 11
Yeah. Yep.
because I could not think of what we all had to talk. We did touring and we went out to the Witches Museum, which was really bad. And then we
More
went to,
weight.
yeah, but we had somebody's husband was there and he was like writing a thesis on what we were doing. And so he gave
Yep.
us some lectures, which was really
Yep.
good.
That was fun.
Yeah, that was fun. So then we all came up with ideas and then we presented them. And then that was what our story was supposed to be about. And we had like, I don't know, 2 or 3 months, something like that
Yep.
to work on them. And every day I'd look at it and go, it was a great concept, but it's not going to work. It just did not work as a story. And I'm like, what the hell am I going to write about? And I co-author a series where we roll dice to create prompts. And that's what I
Hmm.
did.
Hmm.
I rolled a prompt and I went and I just wrote and and
Yep.
then I said, okay, I read it once and went, okay, I'm turning this in and I hope nobody ever reads it. Hope everybody reads all the other stories, but not mine. And one day,
Hmm.
I will go back and I sent it to my narrator because I was going to have her just narrate the short story, and she sent me back a note saying, "Expand this into a full book." And I went,
Mm.
"Okay." So I set it aside.
Yeah.
I'll do that later. So that so your first you so you've been writing how many years now? I got a sidetracked.
So before the first book was published, by Dark Pawn. There was a couple of years before that because that event, the Witches of Salem, was I think maybe the fourth event I've been to, and the first one was Rock Apocalypse, which was like 2018 or so.
Yeah.
So I was, publishing in anthologies around that time.
Okay, so we've been publishing for about the same amount of
Y-
time. My first one was 2017. So all these years later, and I don't want to think of how many it's been and how few books I have. What if you could go back to give
Yeah.
yourself advice as a new writer? What would you say?
Uh, I would encourage myself to keep going. Um, that I can't compare myself to everyone else because I always do. And there's always that healthy reminder to always, don't compare yourself because now like I'm a full-time author now, because I was laid off from a day job a
Oh,
year and 4 days ago.
oh no.
Um, so happy anniversary. But on the same side, I can be a full-time author now, which is awesome. And I used to compare myself to full-time authors when I was working the day job, and being like, well, why can't I do this much? Why can't I do this much? And so I think that it's really like comparison is not going to be the best thing to do. You really need to focus on uh how to write. And if I could go back all the way to the beginning and like get myself in the mindset of where I was before the layoff, it would be like find your sacred writing time and hold to it. So for me, my sacred writing time was like roughly 6 a.m. to 7:30. I was just before the day job so that I knew that when I woke up, the first thing that I could do was for myself. It was to write. And that was nobody else's. And so that was my sacred time. I could let things bleed in, but I would always recognize that if I'm doing that, I'm doing it willfully, and that this is my time that I get to control. And so I think that if I could impose that on myself earlier, that would have probably helped just sort of refine the process a little bit more along the way.
Oh, I give that 100% yes. Because I spent 10 years writing my first book. And
Yeah.
then the pandemic hit. And then I published it in 2017. And then I can't remember when the next book was out, but I was really slow. Pandemic hit, and a friend invited me to join their Zoom group. They had 6 or 7 authors who met every day on Zoom to write Monday through Friday with the weekends off. And that's important. You want to take a little bit of time off just to
Mm-hmm.
reset and do other things and visit with your
Yeah.
family and see the
Yeah.
sun. All that.
What's that?
Yeah, the sun. I know my husband will say, "Don't you want to go out and see the sun today?" No, no,
No,
I
I'm
don't
kidding.
want. I hate the sun. No, so that was 2020, and then once the pandemic was over, everybody left except for
Yep.
my friend Amy and I. And we still to this day, 5 years, 6 years later, every weekday, nine to noon, Monday through Friday, we write. And so between the two of us, we've written, she's written like, I want to say 9 books, and I've
Yeah.
written 7 or 8, plus, I think 14 prompt books with Lisa, which, oh my God, those are a headache and those take forever to write. And I had somebody say to me one time, so you just take lists off the internet? And I went, God, no. We
No.
agonize over the things to include in the prompts. We agonize and we spend months writing each book. Oh my God.
Yep. Yep.
I would rather write fiction than write prompt books.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and you have minimal word space to say the most optimal thing.
Yes. Yes. Because each one is one page. Sometimes they're two. But yeah. So, but yeah, having that set time and making sure that you show up every day. And
Hmm.
I see people all the time who say, I just don't have time to write.
You can constantly say, well, I can't write unless I have a 6 hour block. So I can't write this week because I can't find a 6 hour block. But then you won't be writing at all.
Yeah.
So that's your choice then, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, this was like a really hard lesson for me. It was one of my early ones. But I was so fresh out of college, I got a degree in biochemistry. I went the corporate route, was working in labs, and ended up in this place where we was trying to like move up, and the option to move up was like supervisors or managers. So I had to take this like supervisory skills course, and it was like off-site. and there was like different businesses there, and we were all going through this workbook. And one day they had us write down all of the things that we didn't have time for, and everyone's writing down like, I don't have time to do laundry, I don't have time to spend with my kids, et cetera, et cetera. I'm of course over there like, I don't have time to write. Like, obviously,
Yeah.
there's no time in the day to write. There's no time in the day to do artwork, which is another thing I love to do. And then they made us go into the front of the class. And instead of saying I don't have time to, we had to say I don't want to. And so I had to verbally say I don't want to write. And that made me so
Oh,
angry because I was like, how? I know that this wasn't their fault, but how dare you make me say that? Because like I can't do that. Like, that's not okay. Like, that means that I've given my time to somebody else and that I have no control over it. And it made me so angry that I just was like, I'm gonna write out a spite then. I'm gonna figure out when I can and I'm gonna do it because I can't be here a year later and say I don't want to write because that's not true. So if I don't have time to write, then I'm saying that I don't want to write, and that's not acceptable. We give our time to a lot of things, and it's not
yes.
just work, but it's family members, it's children, and there are parents as well when they need care, et cetera,
Yes.
et cetera. And
Yeah.
because of all of that, sometimes people feel overwhelmed, and the hardest thing to do, I think, is to put those boundaries up and to say like, I understand that I need to take care of you, maybe 24/7, but can you give me 15 minutes? And if you can give me 15 minutes where, we have quiet time or whatever it is, then I can be more present the rest of the time. But I need my time. And you need to like reclaim that for yourself and you need to put those boundaries up. I need to remind myself of this. I'm saying it out loud and I'm like, yeah, that would be nice to reduce. Of course, like I spend half of my day up here. Like I have a boundary. It's pretty set. But I think that that's something to consider if you're one of those people out there that are like, well, I have to do X, I have to do Y, I have to do Z. Like, can you bring up the conversation with those around you who you are helping and find out if they can give you back your time so that they can do something else maybe, or that they can, not have to be reliant on you?
Yeah, that's a good conversation to have with your family. And also, don't forget, you don't have to sit in front of a computer.
Yeah,
I dictate a lot. Everybody has a notes app on their phone. Open your notes app, just start dictating. And I know
yeah,
it feels weird at first to start doing it. I like to write in layers, so I will do a conversation first, and always include the person's name. John, don't do that. Mabel, you're an idiot. John, I hate you. You know, that kind of thing. And then when you go back later and take out the names and all that, but this way you know who said what.
yeah, yeah.
And then you can build it all around it. But you know, if you don't have anything to start with, you have nothing to edit later.
For what was it? For an early like National Novel Writing Month, I put my phone on record, and while I drove to work, which was like a 30-minute drive,
Great.
I was dictating because I have to do the drive. So
Mhm.
if I'm driving alone already, and then I remember too, because I live in the US and like it was part of the contract, so of course check those, but like the 15-minute break thing. So most jobs require that you take a 15-minute break. If you're working 8 hours, you get two of them, and then you also get your lunch, whatever that is. Totally dependent on everybody else. But basically, I was like, okay, well, what if I just put in the schedule a 15-minute break and I go to a conference room? Nobody bothered me because as long as the work is getting done, like, and yes, I understand there are differences with, job scale and level and whatever. But if you're able to, I know Zach Bohannon, he would do an hour lunch and he would write. It was
Yeah.
awkward at first because people always wanted to be like, hey, you want to, go out and eat together? And he's like, no, no, I got to write. Like, those are the ways to find time to do it.
Yeah.
And even when you have the corporate job, like, where can you fit that in?
Yeah. If you're folding laundry, that's a great one. I get a lot of dictation done while I fold laundry.
Yeah.
That's it. And, you know, there's a little bit of an echo in the laundry room, but that's okay. You know,
Yeah, it's
you're the one
fine.
who's going to be listening to it later. I did see somebody not too long ago. I heard them on a podcast talking about minimizing so you can't see what you're dictating, so you don't try to edit. But I say, please don't do that because dictation does not always write the words down correctly. So
Yes.
you may come back to it later and say, what language was this written in? So I recommend you always watch what you're dictating because you may want to stop and fix it. When I'm
Yeah.
saying characters' names, I spell them. And then, because I write fantasy and you do too. So I
Yep.
spell the names and this way it writes them correctly. So instead of Lennis, I would get lettuce head. I don't know why, but that's what it would always write.
Yep.
So just maybe the way I said it. So yeah,
Yeah.
I would spell the name, and so that helped. So these are little ways for people to get out there and get more words on the page because that's the biggest thing for us is words on the page. So I
Yeah.
know on TikTok people can find you, and you are a huge seller on TikTok.
Yeah. It's been a weird and fun little journey. Luckily it started like a month or two before the layoffs, so that was sort of when I knew like, okay, if I can prove to myself that I can be a full-time, let's try this. And TikTok ended up being like over a third of the net income for the year, which was amazing. Um, so I have multiple accounts. That's the one thing. Uh, I have a bookshop account and my author account and a couple others for other reasons. But the reason I do that, and for anybody that is like, man, I would love to have a bookshop account, is that I can't do the commercial sounds, or not the commercial sounds, but like the every other sound on the bookshop account because it's like a business account.
Yeah.
So, I can't stitch people. I can't,
Oh, okay.
make funny noises or do whatever trending stuff. So I do a lot of that over on the author account. um but yeah, I mean the TikTok shop's been great. It's been fun to do. I think that like the big thing is consistency over there. One of the people I follow heavily is Sasha Black. I focused on
Yes.
what she was doing, and I was about like a year behind her when I learned that she was doing the post every day. So I just started repeating that, and I was seeing the same sort of thing. Y- I do post every day still. So, it's a lot of work, but I think at this point, like it can take me a couple minutes. I try to see what's popular, or what my algorithm does. And so like if you were to head over to my author account like today, or I guess since this is coming out next week, you'll probably see a lot of text, as like text on like a colorful background. That's just because like that seems to work the best. Every time that I do a face post, it's like half of that, and I don't really know why. So
Oh,
it's a
yeah.
lot of
Strange.
testing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like it's not the same for everybody else. So it's a lot of like every once in a while you'll see I might do more face or I might do more video, and like I'm sort of testing the waters and seeing what's working. Um, but the text one is like it just the algorithm really likes when I do that, I guess.
Yeah, and I know it's different for everybody,
Yeah,
which is
100%.
which is just absolutely
It's
it can annoy
frustrating, isn't
people.
it?
Yeah, it can be frustrating when you look and say, "Oh, this one person's doing all these great things." Do you do lives? I've heard that lives are supposed to be really good.
Yeah. So I do them. I have done them. But for some reason, I don't at the moment love them. So it's one of those like I'm trying to be more aware that if I don't love them, I need to look for something else to do. Because if I don't love them, how are people going to love them when they're sitting in on them?
Yeah.
I do know they work really well for some people. I I really like being on Twitch with the smaller community that I know is sort of sitting there. I feel like I've built a really strong community there, which is really funny because it's another live. It's just on a different platform. But
Yeah.
for some reason, it just the vibe is very different for me. So I really like doing the Twitch lives. That's where I'm mostly at.
Yeah, and Twitch is just twitch.com. Is it how do
Yeah,
you
yeah.
find
It's
Twitch?
twitch.tv. Um,
Twitch.tv?
yes, yes.
Okay. Yeah, because I
Yeah.
mean I've heard people talking about it. I feel like one of those old people that, you know,
Yeah, yeah. If you're ever on my website, roughly between the hours of 6:30 a.m. Central and 9 a.m., in the top corner, you'll usually see something flashing that says that I'm live. It's an integration.
oh,
It's really nice.
oh
And then you can
nice.
just hop over onto my channel. So that's another way to check it out.
Oh, I'm gonna check it out. Because I try to get into my office. Okay, so 9 a.m. your time is I'm
I'm
East
Central
Coast.
Time. Okay, so that would be 9 a.m. would be like 10. So I
10.
would start 7:30 to 10 your time.
Oh, okay. So when you start, I could jump on before I and check it out before I
Yeah. Yeah.
do my daily stuff. My daily stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So how about live shows? I almost
Live
forgot to
shows.
ask
I
about
love
that.
those. So I am trying to be more aware of the ones that I'm picking now because they do drain me a lot.
Yes.
I think that this is the same reason why I am currently trying to figure out TikTok lives. It's because it's a little energy draining. Um, because I feel very like markety kind of. It's sort of like a different persona where I'm just trying to like sell you books but be a good person
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
make you like me.
Yes.
Um and it's like you got to give people pitches really quickly and sort of
Yes.
like they're in or they're out. But yeah, so I do love doing live shows. I'll be doing I think 4 this year.
Oh,
So most of them are in like the like Wisconsin, Illinois area. But yeah, I love them. They're fun. I have like a whole table set up, and it's one of my favorite things to do. And like getting out into the public and sort of testing the pitches, I think, is a big thing.
yeah.
So for me, like TikTok really helped me refine pitches because you have to say stuff quickly and you can see like views quickly. But then live stuff taught me like how people respond to those pitches, if that makes sense. So
Yes.
it's like doing both in tandem helped me figure out how to say stuff that is both intriguing and will captivate people. I'm not saying that I'm perfect at it, but I'm saying that like those are really good methods, both in tandem, to figure out how to refine your pitch as good as you can.
Yeah, and also you see how people react. Oh, my hair is all screwy. Sorry.
Oh, I get that
You.
too. My hair is growing out crazy
Oh
over
my God,
here.
I've got one piece of hair that keeps tickling my nose. I'm going to pull it out if I can find it. Uh, but I like being at shows in person because people coming by look at your covers
Yeah,
and you see how they react to them. I had a friend who people thought her books were YA and they're not.
yeah,
And
yep,
because of the way her covers were, and she's recovered them, so I can't wait for her next show to hear
yeah.
how it goes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
but yeah,
Mandrake
it's
Manor. Mandrake Manor's original cover was actually this illustration behind me.
oh, okay.
So it was artwork done by a local artist. But when I posted it, it didn't get as much like traction as the new cover did. And when looking at it at like a hindsight lens, it's a very like almost 90s kind of cover. It doesn't look quite right. And so that cover in comparison to when I switched it over to this one, and I did like a short TikTok video showing for a live show at a boozy book fair. So it was at a brewery.
Mhm.
And I did a video where like you walk in and you go to my table and it sort of like showed off the book. And like an hour in, somebody came over to my table and they're like, I saw the video, I saw the cover, I want it. Like didn't even
Oh,
ask me about the book. I was like, okay, so I picked the right cover. Covers stop you from scrolling, right?
yes, yes,
And then the words and the hook, that's what keeps you intrigued.
yes,
But that the covers are you judge a book by its cover. You stop to look at and then pick it up. Even if it's just the title, which is the cover, like you can see it on the cover.
yeah,
That's what's grabbing you. So I do think that covers are extremely important when it comes, especially to indie authors, because uh, we have big publishing houses who will likely recycle really good bestsellers with different covers year over year, especially like classics. And it's because they know that a new cover will grab people's attention and they'll grab another cover. But we don't always have that luxury, especially when we're beginning out,
no,
to get a new cover every single year. And
yeah,
so we really need to quote unquote nail it out of the park for the
yeah,
book and give it its best opportunity it can and or best opportunity that we can give it at the time. And that does mean a really good cover. And two, like it's not just artwork, it's not just graphic design, but it's understanding the genre and knowing what people that are reading books like yours, because your book is like another book. It's never not like another book. I'm
no,
sorry.
no, yeah,
And so because of that, what are the people that like books like yours looking at? What are the covers there? And that research is super important when it
yes.
comes to getting covers right. when you go to like listening to your own works is listening to the audiobooks of works that are like yours or works that you really enjoy or the author's voice you really enjoy. You're not necessarily trying to mimic that author, but I think by listening to maybe a chapter of that before you listen to a chapter of yours gets you in the mindset of what the prose is of a final published book so that
Yeah.
when you go to listen to yours and you're like the cadence there just doesn't feel right. Okay, why doesn't
Yeah.
it feel right? Like ask yourself those questions and how can I fix it in a way that works for me? You can also have like a pretty good predictor for covers if there's like a explosion of a bestseller that sort of comes out of nowhere
Oh,
and it
yeah.
has like it almost looks totally different, you can almost expect to start to see a flow of similar styles. Like the Akatar, A Court of Thorns and Roses.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
that made a ton of other books that had the a blank of blank and blank.
Yeah.
And had similar style covers because that one was such like a knockout. And so look at your genre. Is there anyone that is like exploding in your genre and that can sort of give you a little bit of leverage or a little bit of an idea if you're ready to publish? If you're
Yeah.
not, like wait a little bit, especially for like cover stuff. But um, yeah, I think that that would be like one thing I would keep an eye on too.
Yeah. All good advice. All good
Yeah,
advice.
yeah.
So one more time, tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, easiest place is going to be ninthbooks.com. So the number nine, books, books.com. That'll have all my social links up top too. So it just makes it super easy for everybody if you just head on over there.
Yeah, and there's merch there too. So
Yeah,
take a
and
look at that,
merch.
which is
We
awesome. Is
love
awesome.
merch.
And people can get autographed books from you through the site.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
So
awesome.
TikTok shop and my website. I'm the one packing the orders, so I get to sign them and I get to give you a little thank you note and all that fun stuff.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, the thank you note was cool with the little postcards. And yeah, I think
Yeah.
there were some stickers. I can't remember, but they're all on my
Yes.
shelf. So I was happy to get all those. And I was looking at
Yeah.
it going, oh my God, that's right. I got it. I got it autographed. Oh, I'm so excited. Yeah, I have
Yeah.
a whole shelf of just autographed books. So
Ooh.
very exciting. Yes, very
Yeah.
exciting. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Of
It
course.
was
Thank you so
so much
much.
fun to chat with you. And I will be getting the next book, I'm sure, in the series because I'll be dropping this one off with my daughter in just a day or two.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, thank you so much.
Bye bye. I had such a nice time chatting with him. Great person. Really, go grab one of his books. Everything we talked about should be down in the show notes. If I missed anything, drop me a note and ask, where the heck is that thing you talked about? And you didn't tell it in the show notes. That's it for this week. I will see you next time. Until then, go read a good book. The Books Cube theme music was written by Laura Lynn Hardy. She performed the vibraphone. Billy Tyke Miller performed percussion, and it was recorded at Mills Kids Recording in Huntsville, Alabama.